We're all familiar with the what seemed to be peculiar actions of Yaakov Avinu when it came to him giving the bracha to his grandsons, Ephraim and Menashe. Menashe was the older one, and Ephraim ended up being the one who got Yaakov's right hand placed on him, the right representing strength. And Yosef tried to push off his father's hand, and he said, no, father, your right hand, which is supposed to go on the Bechor, on the oldest, you have it right now on the youngest. You have it on Ephraim. Place it on Menashe. And Yaakov Avinu says to Yosef, no. I know what I'm doing. Gam hu yelam, gam hu yigdal. No, Ephraim is also going to become great. Therefore, Ephraim can get the right hand as well. And so instead of blessing his grandsons in this way, Yaakov Avinu blesses his grandsons in this way. A lesson for us about that we should never look at any of our children and say one is going to be better than the other, and perhaps as a representation of the fact that Yaakov Avinu learned from that which transpired with Yosef himself earlier in life and didn't want to show preference to one, to Ephraim over Menashe, to Menashe over Ephraim. So even though Menashe was the Bechor, nevertheless Yaakov said, Ephraim, you're going to be special too. Rabbi Aryeh Levin Zecher Tzadik Livracha says, there is something else that we are to learn from these actions of Yaakov Avinu that's pertinent to us every single day of our lives. And that is the following. He says that when we are standing across from someone, the person who's standing across from me, my right side, is directly across from their left. My right hand is directly across from their left hand. My left hand is directly across from their right hand, and vice versa. And he says that what ends up happening is that the right represents the strength of a person. The left represents the weakness of a person. So when I look at the person who's right across from me, my right, my strength, looks at their weakness. And when it comes to anything in the way that I perhaps look at them, I'm looking at the chesronos. However, and it's seen in a clear way, but to see their strength, well, that's their strength. Their right is opposite my left, so I don't really see it that much. So Yaakov Avinu comes to teach us that it should be the opposite, that our right should face the right, and that our left should face the left, meaning that even when I'm facing someone, it might appear physically that my strength, my power, that my intellect is looking at their weakness because I'm facing their left. He says the opposite. My strength, my intellect should look at their strength and not to look down. And therefore, when it comes to my left, which isn't as strong as my right, okay, my left may be able to look at their weakness, but that's going to be smaller because there's going to be so much more when it comes to looking at the strengths of another person. So even though when we face someone, our right faces the right and our left faces the left on a physical level, the lesson that Rabbi Aryeh Levin is sharing with us based on what Yaakov Avinu did is that we should look at the malos of someone else. And that, of course, is the famous tefillah of Rav Elimelech of Lezhinsk, Noam Elimelech, Schuso Yogen Aleinu, that Shenira Kol Echad Malas Chavereinu, that each of us should see the milos, should see the wonderful traits of each other, V'lo Chesronam, and not what we are missing. May we be zoche that we learn the lesson of Yaakov Avinu at the end of his life when he gives bracha to his grandsons, and that we should look at others and look at their strengths and not that which is their weakness. Wishing everyone a good Shabbos.